Hi everyone, welcome back to Substack Coach. Today we're going to cover about pages. So I want to start with a simple question. When was the last time you looked at your about page, or have you looked at it at all yet? Not talking about your homepage where all of your posts are, or your latest post, or scrolling through your site or Substack in general, but your Substack About page. So it's your url.substack.com/about, or you can find it on your nav bar. So for a lot of Substacks, the About page is either completely ignored and still full of the generic text from Substack itself, or it is an autobiography, or it's maybe doing almost nothing at all because it's so vague and generic. And that is a bit of a problem because your About page plays a fairly significant role in whether or not someone will subscribe to you. So imagine you're standing in a bookstore. You pick up a book and you read the back cover, maybe you glance at the inside flap, and then you decide, is this book coming home with me or is it going back on the shelf? You haven't read the whole book. You don't know what the story and the main characters and everything is really about, but you've learned enough from the back cover and the inside flap to really decide if it's for you. And that's what your About page should be doing on Substack. It's the back cover of your publication. So people arrive there after discovering you through notes, maybe finding you through search, or a recommendation from another writer that they already follow, or maybe they clicked through from one of your posts that they came across, and they're looking for context. They're asking, what is this Substack? Is this actually for me? And do I want more of this in my inbox? Your About page actually has two jobs. Number one, it's an invitation. It invites the right readers further in, and it helps someone understand what you write, why it matters, and why they should subscribe to you. And job number two is a filter. This often gets overlooked or left out, but you don't want everybody subscribing to you. You want the right people subscribing to you that are actually aligned with your content. You want your About page to help the wrong readers realize this probably isn't for me. That's much better than those same people showing up in your comments section all the time, disagreeing with everything, or just outright being a troll. So you don't need everybody to subscribe. You want the people who are genuinely aligned because they are the most likely to stay subscribed, to open your emails, and to engage with your work. So a lot of people treat their About page like a traditional website About page, and they write their life story, share all their credentials, talk about how they got started, or why they decided to launch a Substack. None of those things are bad, but they're not answering the right question. Readers aren't usually asking, tell me all your entire history, please, but they're asking, should I subscribe? Is this for me? So a short, clear About page is much better than a full, comprehensive About page that tells your whole story. There are three main questions every About page should answer. Number one is, what is this publication about? You want to be specific and clear on what you cover on your About page. I recently did a live Substack with someone who doesn't write on one specific niche topic, but she writes on several different topics. And I will link to that below. But one of the things we discussed was how to create cohesiveness in your Substack when it's not automatically in your topic. And she really talked about kind of having a thread that runs through your different Substack posts. And that's really what you're sharing here on your About page. You could list your topics. Let's say you have three very specific topics that you write on, like travel, food, and budgeting. They go together, but they also have very clear topics or subtopics. So you could list those on your About page, but you can also just talk about like the idea behind what it is that you're actually trying to convey. You do want to be specific and not too vague about that, and you want to be clear. Readers should really understand what it is that they're walking into. The second question that you should answer is, who is this Substack for? Who is your ideal reader? And sometimes you really can say this directly, like, this publication is for women who are concerned about midlife and menopause. Or you'll enjoy this if you love seeing beautiful travel pictures from all over the world. Or this is designed for parents who are raising small children. You can be really clear about who it is that you're writing about, and that comes to the whole filter. idea. You don't have to say this is not for so-and-so, but you can. So for example, on my herbalist site, I say, this is for women who really want to, go back to the basics and understand the foundations of health. And this is probably not for you if you're interested in biohacking and, the top supplement stacks and all of that sort of thing. So you want to make it really easy for people to recognize themselves in your work, or to realize that that's not about what they're all about and they're not interested in your topic. And the third question is, what can I expect? So when your readers arrive at your About page, one of the things that most Substack users will scan for is, number one, how often are you writing? Number two, what are you offering for free versus what are you offering for paid? So these are really important things to include. Before we subscribe as a reader on Substack, we want to know, are you going to appear in our inbox every single day or multiple times a day? And maybe someone wants that, but maybe someone doesn't, but it's good to know ahead of time. Weekly, monthly, several times a week. Also, briefly, what kind of content do you share? Is it a podcast? Is it a written essays? Is it video posts? It's nice to give your readers an idea of what type of content they can expect to show up in their inbox. Predictability and follow through is what is going to build trust with your readers so that they will stay subscribed to you and engage with you. And finally, you want to include free versus paid. So you don't want to have it so general that people think that when they sign up for free, they're going to get all this lovely content, but that's actually your paid offer, and free people get once in a blue moon essay. So make sure that you're really clear what free people get versus what paid people get if you have payments turned on. Last week, I talked a bit about welcome emails, and welcome emails help people after they subscribe to navigate your site, but About pages help people decide if they want to subscribe beforehand. So they're part of the same journey. The About page creates orientation and makes decision-making easier, where the welcome email continues that orientation once the decision has been made. And both are helping readers understand what happens on your Substack. Not every About page needs to be long. Most About pages are pretty short. Some publications only need 2 or 3 strong paragraphs, a clear topic, a publishing schedule, and a little about the creator. But as your ecosystem on Substack grows, so for example, if you have workshops, coaching, multiple sections, paid subscriber benefits, interviews, community spaces, all of these things mean that your About page becomes more complex to match the complexity of your Substack in general. So think of your About page as being a quick guide that helps the readers understand how everything fits together. If you haven't looked at your About page recently, you'll want to go and read it and ask yourself, would a brand new visitor immediately know what this publication is about, who it's for, what happens if they subscribe? If not, your About page probably needs a little bit of work. It doesn't have to be complicated to get started, as I said. What I recommend if you're just starting out is 1 or 2 paragraphs that shares what the Substack is about and a little bit of filtering who you're writing for, followed by the logistics of it. How often are you writing for, and free versus paid, followed by a subscribe button. Then have a divider, then optionally have an About Me section. This can really only be 1 paragraph, maybe 2. It's not a life story. It's not all your credentials and everything. It's just a short introduction to yourself for your readers to understand really what your expertise is in the topic that you're writing about. And that's all it needs. You can add a picture at the top if you have one that's specifically for your Substack. You can add a small picture of yourself in the About Me section, and your About page is beautiful and ready to go. If you're working on the foundations of your Substack, I've written quite a bit about publication structure, welcome emails, discoverability, and the pieces that help readers decide to subscribe and stay subscribed. And all those articles are over on my Substack. The link is in the description below, and you're welcome to come and join me.